Hello everyone and welcome to the DeHart house. My name is Alicia and I'm your host of this crafty channel here on YouTube. Today is Saturday, August 2nd, and it's time to wrap up the month of July, which was very busy, which I'm going to talk about. But before I jump into that, welcome if you're new, welcome if you're returning. I am coming to you from my craft room where I reside in Western Washington. I am in the Seattle area and the weather is quite lovely. Quite lovely. It has been warm and my garden is thriving, and this morning is a little bit cooler than yesterday and it's absolutely beautiful outside. Right, this is a crafting podcast where I share with you all the things that I made in the month of July. I'm going to wrap up projects that are finished. I'm going to talk about projects that are either new or continuing into the next month. I will also share towards the end some numbers. For those of you who don't know, I teach math for a living at a community college, and I'm all about the numbers. So I'll share some numbers with you about how I'm doing with my stash, because I have some goals to use my stash. So I'll talk about that a little bit as well. And I also want to share with you some fun things that happened in the month of July. And I'm going to start with that piece, the fun stuff. We had family come to visit, and I have more family coming in a week. It's a very busy summer, excuse me. There we go. So my husband and I both teach, and we opted out of teaching for the summer. It's not a part of our usual contract to teach in the summer. If we choose to do that, it's extra work with extra pay. And we didn't want to work this summer, so we chose not to. And so perfect time to have folks come to visit and do vacations. So we had folks here for almost 3 weeks, and we did a lot of adventuring. We did some camping, we did some gardening here at the house, we did some downtown Seattle exploring. And while I don't want to go through everything we did, I did just want to share with you, we went down to see Mount St. Helens. So it is on the southern edge of Washington State, not too far from Portland, Oregon. And it was hot. It was very hot. We captured some gorgeous shots of the mountain. We tried to get up to Spirit Lake, which is on the northeastern side of the mountain. It's known for having been covered in a lot of trees that were blown down in the eruption of Mount St. Helens. And, you know, things have changed in the last, how long has it been? That was 1980, right? So 45 years. And I've never seen it personally. I've seen photographs. And we were going to try to get up there this summer. You can already tell by the way I'm phrasing it, we were unsuccessful in that attempt. We just missed so the road up there is closed in the winter season due to snow, and they're not plowing the road. It's not needed to transport goods in and out and whatnot. So it's closed in the winter season. So you need to wait for everything to melt and for the crews to get up there and plow the road for it to open. It was July, so it's open, and it was only open for a short time, and now it's closed because they need to do some construction on the road. So we just missed our opportunity to do that. And the road is going to be closed probably, someone said possibly multiple years. Someone said definitely for this summer season. So that's kind of disappointing. But if you were hoping to get up close to Mount St. Helens, particularly the Spirit Lake region, just know that it's not going to happen. So that was a disappointment, but we found other ways to explore the area. And one of the things we stumbled upon was a salmon hatchery. So we had extra time because we didn't do the hike we planned on doing for the day. And so we pulled into this hatchery and we got to check out what it was all about. So they had an exhibit inside the building. It's like one room. And I wish I could tell you the exact name and location of the hatchery because there are several along the rivers and several that we saw on our road trips. So I'm sorry I can't tell you the exact one, but they had a one-room exhibit inside trying to educate people about what fish hatcheries do, how it helps support you know, not only fishing, but the ecosystems and the human impact we've had over the years and how we've learned from it. And I thought it was great. Our 12-year-old niece was with us and they had this really engaging, interactive piece in the exhibit and she got a big kick out of that. Also, I did as well. And then we got to go up and see some of the fish and I think that was the best part of the whole that day in particular because it was kind of a letdown. We didn't get to do the hike we wanted, but the hatchery was kind of cool. So I took this video of the fish at the top of a fish ladder. If you know what a fish ladder is, I learned a lot at the hatchery, but the fish swim up this ladder because they're trying to, you know, go back to their breeding grounds. And they climb up to the top and then someone sorts them because there's different species that come in there and they sort them and you know, collect the eggs and make the next generation of support life of the next generation of fish and then release them and it's this whole thing. But yeah, there were fish at the top of the fish ladder just swimming with the current and it was fascinating. So I'll put in a video clip here of that. Oh! Stay over there. Well, that bird looks like it's going home. Yeah. I want to see one jump over the thing. Oh! I never thought you could so good. I know, right? That was cool. Oh, who knew? I didn't know. But if you've never been to a fish hatchery and you happen to see one and you have time, just swing in because you never know what you're going to see. It was pretty cool. And yeah, so we did a lot of day trips and hiking and walking and all the things. And we also went to downtown Seattle and went to the Museum of Pop Culture. I don't have pictures to share of that. I took lots of pictures, but they're not great. So But yeah, I took lots of pictures of things we enjoy, like the Batman costume that George Clooney wore, and costumes from Star Trek and Star Wars, and um, there was a Jimi Hendrix exhibit, and lots of really cool stuff that we saw. It's just that with my photography skills and the glare off of the glass cases and all the many people, and it was just really hard to get like an awesome picture. So, but if you're in the area or you're planning a vacation or something, you can spend hours and hours in there, and there's a lot to see and a lot to learn, and we really enjoyed it. And then we went basically next door to the Space Needle, and I took my knitting with me, which was great because there are lines. And yeah, we went up in the Space Needle, and my husband and I hadn't been back since our very first vacation together was in Seattle. And we went to the Space Needle, and this was our first time being back since then. And that was really special. But I also embraced my fears and walked out onto the glass floor on the rotating deck. And last time I was too frightened to do that. I am terribly afraid of heights. I have trouble on ladders. And so I really wanted to face my fears and do it. And I did it. I did it. I walked out on the glass floor, and I actually looked down. It was difficult for me. I knew I was 100% safe. You know how it is. Fears are not always logical. So, anyway, it just was the cherry on the top of the whole beautiful day, and it was a lot of fun. So, yeah, July has involved a lot of vacationing, adventuring, spending time with family, and I'm tired. I'm exhausted from all the fun that we've had, but not to worry, knitting happened amidst all of that. So let me share with you the things that I finished in the month of July. So I think I'm going to do this in chronological order instead of by category. So I finished 4 things in the month of July, which is pretty amazing considering all the stuff I just told you about. And, excuse me, I did do a bunch of driving, so I wasn't always able to knit in the car on our road trips. Some knitting in the car happened, but not a lot. So the first thing off my needles was a pair of socks, and this pair of socks was mostly knit in June, and I only had a little bit to finish in July. So these were finished in the first few days of the month, which is great. So these are some scrappy socks. So I've been on this kick to use scrap yarn from my stash, and what I'm doing is pairing up 2 self-striping yarns together and alternating them every other round. So it's 1 row of one color, 1 row of the next, 1 row of the first color, 1 row of the next. And yeah. So this is a pair of socks for my husband, and I made them kind of shorty socks, partially because of the amount of yarn, but also I think he needs more shorty socks for these warm months of the year, so perfect opportunity to do that. The yarn I used is Patton's Croy and a Premier yarn. And these were leftovers, so Michael has a pair of socks in each of these colorways. And now he has a pair of socks with the 2 blended together, which I think is great. And then the heel is an unknown because I lost the tag. But it's just a brown, solid brown. It's really soft, so I suspect this is one that has like some silk in it. So we'll see how it handles the wear and tear. But yeah, so 2x2 ribbing all the way around the leg, and then I continue it down the top of the foot. I've got a heel flap and gusset and a standard toe. I like to knit my socks top down, and that's how these were knit. US size 1 needles and 64 stitches, in case you're wondering about all of those numbers. But yeah, these were finished first on the first few days of the month, right before folks got here. And then the second thing off my needles, just a few days later, was my tank top. I love it so very much. So I engineered this design. I found this stitch pattern in a book, and I had this yarn. It's been in my stash for quite a while because I believe I bought it when I lived in Texas, which is over 5 years ago now. And yeah, I wanted to do something with it. So I knit a gauge swatch, measured myself, figured out how many stitches it would take. And yeah, I worked on this. So it's top down. I started with the back and then went back and picked up stitches here to do each of these sides. I don't know what you would call this. And then added stitches to go across the whole front, knit the front, then joined in the round, knit in the round to the bottom. And then I went back and, oh, it's an I-cord bind off on the bottom, which I find rolls inward a little bit, or it has the look of rolling inward a little bit, and it's the only thing about this garment that irks me. So I'm trying to figure out how to get over that annoyance. I'm not sure how to, but I did an I-cord edging for the neckline. I wanted something that would have some structure and pull it in. I want it to be close to my neck, but not choking me. And this seemed to work out great. And then the armholes, when I first finished it, these armholes were much deeper than I wanted. And I was really worried I was going to have to rip back. But I went back and did double knitting. So this is 3 stitches of double knitting, so 6, because 3 for each side. And it's cinched in this armhole. It has more structure to it, which is what I wanted. I wanted clean lines with the lace pattern here. I wanted the edges to be really clean. And, excuse me, I love it so much. And I can't wait to wear it, like, out and about. I haven't done it yet. I was going to wear it when we had planned a road trip we were going to go to Seattle, and it was rainy that day, and it just wasn't good weather for this outfit. And yeah, so I need pictures of me wearing it still, but it's finished. It fits. It's wonderful. I need to figure out what like pants it goes well with, or possibly skirts, and kind of figure out what outfit pairings I can do for work or church or casual or whatever. And now that our visitors have left, I feel like I have the brain space and energy for that now. So it's on my to-do list. But yeah, it is finished. It is a worsted weight yarn that is a cotton acrylic blend. It is a yarn that is not manufactured anymore. It is discontinued. but it's yarn that I got from Hobby Lobby, so it's the Yarn Bee brand. And yeah, I took really good notes. I think I took really good notes when I was knitting this in the hopes of publishing a pattern. I'm still on the fence about that. I think if I were going to publish this pattern, I would want to knit this up in a different yarn because, you know, when you buy a pattern, it says suggested yarn. Like, I'd like to actually suggest a yarn that's still being made and people could purchase. So, yeah. Okay, third thing off the needles in the month of July is another pair of socks. I know, you're totally shocked, right? This girl doesn't knit socks. What are you talking about? That's a joke because I knit a lot of socks. So these socks are for me, and they are another scrappy pair. Wow, that word evaded me for a moment. So these are a little different. They are shorty, which I kind of have been doing with my scrappy socks due to the amount of yardage left in the scraps. It has made the most sense so far. But these are a little bit different because one of the colorways is not a striping yarn, it's a variegated yarn. So what I did is I paired a variegated yarn with a self-striping yarn. And it has created a different kind of effect, which I feel like is also very pretty. So I just wanted to show you two self-striping yarns, one self-striping with a variegated. You can see they are different, but because I'm pairing up the two that I choose have this, there are potentially colors they share, right? But yeah, trying to match together things that coordinate. So, yeah, so the two yarns here are, let me look at my notes here. So one of the colorways is called Dark Water, and that's a premier yarn. That would be the self-striping. The variegated yarn is called Lake House, which I believe is also a premier yarn. I can't remember that detail at the moment, but if you're curious, I do have this all up on my Ravelry in my project pages, and my Ravelry username is AlittyKnitsToo, which is down below in the description box. Feel free to look through my project pages, add me as a friend. Yeah, I'm inspired by others, and I hope that I can inspire you as well. I did 1x1 ribbing this time. I do like a good 1x1 rib sock. I'm also coming around to 2x2 rib, which is interesting because I had an aversion to it at first, but now I'm seemingly okay with it, so that's funky. But yeah, 1x1 ribbing for 20 rounds, and then continue it down the top of the foot, heel flap and gusset. This heel is a nice, beautiful dark navy blue, and I don't know the brand. I just put it in my pages Knit Pick Stroll. I'm not sure that that's what it is, but it was also in my scrap bag, and I saw an opportunity to use it, so I did. Standard toe, and again top down. I used 60 stitches on this one. And yeah, now I have another pair of shorty socks. So I've been having a lot of fun using up scraps from other sock projects. I've had fun bringing out old stash and finding a use for it today. But I also wanted to cast on one of the new yarns that I had purchased. So last month I had brought in a bunch of sock yarn, and one of those colorways is called Cactus Flower from Knit Picks Felici. And these come in 50-gram balls, 218 yards. It's a fingering weight yarn. The yarn is 75% superwash merino wool and 25% nylon, which I absolutely love because I wash my socks in the washing machine, and superwash wool is great for that, plus the nylon content for extra strength and durability. So I decided, all right, the scrappy socks are, I love it. I'm having a lot of fun blending the different colors, finding different combinations, but taking them on road trips and managing 2 balls of yarn, and then when I get to the heel, throwing in a 3rd ball of yarn was proving difficult. And I wanted to pack a knitting project that was much simpler, didn't involve yarn management. So I thought, oh, that's fine. I can cast on something new. And so I cast on cactus flower, and I did order 2 balls of it. This is the 2nd ball that has not been touched yet. I did get a pair of shorty socks out of the 1st ball, and I have like maybe 6 grams left of it, something very small. I do have a contrast heel because I did not want to interrupt the stripe sequence. And yeah, I will say right off the bat, I'm disappointed in this big old block of green. I feel like it's not, it wasn't obvious to me in the ball nor on the photographs on the website that that would be the case. And what I also find annoying about it is, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but in the middle, it's almost like it tried to go darker. But it's not like half of this is darker. It's like there's a few yards where it's darker and then it goes back to the same shade. And I just found that weird. Like they were trying to do 2 different shades of green, but it didn't work out. That one, see, this one almost has it. They look like 2 different shades of green here. But anyway, so I don't understand it. I don't know if it was a mistake or intentional. But I'm glad that the yellows were separate. So this yellow and this yellow are different colors. This is more of a golden yellow, and this is more of a highlighter yellow. And I like that they're not right next to each other. So that made me happy. Other than that, you know, there were no knots in the ball, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, Felici has this thing where they put 2 colors next to each other that are really stinking close, and especially from far away, it just looks like one double-sized stripe of that color. I think they look fine. Again, while making it is just something that irked me, but so I did reverse the order of the stripes on the 2nd sock. I don't know if you can tell, but this goes pink, white, yellow, while over here goes white, pink, yellow. And yeah, this was the 1st sock, and you can see when I cast on there was a little bit of the pink. So when I reversed the order, I tried doing something similar where I picked up a little bit of the green before going in. I want them to look like a pair, but I don't want them to be matchy-matchy, and I think I accomplished that. The heel is in also one of the new colors I ordered in that pack, and this is Knit Pig Stroll in the Burnt Umber colorway. It is a heathered colorway, which is hard to capture on the camera in this way, but yeah, it's quite rich in color, and I thought it went nicely with this. I did try to make a pair of socks without any blue in it. So if you've noticed, a lot of the socks have had blue in them. We like blue. It's a pretty prominent color in our wardrobe, but there are some times when I'm not, like I'm wearing an outfit that's blacks and browns or something, and so this will work nicely with those. These are from me. I don't think I said that. And look at that 2x2 ribbing. See what I'm saying? Like, I used to not like it, and now I'm kind of liking it. So that's it for finished things. So now it's time to talk about works in progress. And I want to start with a work in progress that I'm reviving. So I have a few projects, and who doesn't, that we started many moons ago, was really enthusiastic, had all the momentum, and then it fizzled out, it died, and it's just been languishing somewhere in the house. And this is one of those projects for me. It is a crochet blanket that I'm making out of worsted weight acrylic yarn. And I was very gung-ho about it in the beginning. It was a project I started in the house we were renting here in Washington. So when we first moved to the state with our new jobs, we were renting a home, and then a couple years later we bought the house we're in now. So this was something I started there. It was right before the pandemic when I started this project. And then the pandemic hit, we were house hunting. I did not have a mental space for this project. So it has languished, and I am now finally going to pick it back up 5 years after moving into this home. But yeah, I'm calling it my crochet quilt because it looks like a quilt. It's quite beautiful. It's quite large. It plays on the cool colors versus warm colors. Let me show you another section. And neutrals, and it's super great. So my original intention, oh, I was showing you the wrong side. Oh well. My original intention was to make this king size. I'm not doing that. What I'm going to do is make this big enough to be called either a twin size blanket or a throw, depending on what the final measurements come out to be. And my intention is to donate this to a good cause. And I've got something in mind that I hope it works out for. I need to check with them first to see if that'll work out. But yeah, I kind of don't have this rainbow bright aesthetic. I love it. I think it's beautiful. It just kind of doesn't go with our home decor. So, and we don't have kids, and yeah, so I'm like, why don't I finish it and donate it to a good cause? So that's what I'm going to do. It's my plan. So, I made a little chart here. I did some measuring. I did a little research on blanket sizes, and this is what I settled on. So, I made a little chart here so I could keep track of what I was doing because this thing is huge. So all the squares that are completely shaded are the ones I had done before. And the ones with the X's are the ones that I've done recently. And the blank ones are the ones I still need to do. So I've marked them off if they've been added to the blanket. So the last two in this row here, I have made. They just need to get sewn on. So that'll finish that row. And then all I have to do is one more row. Now, I do want to do a border around this as well. So once I finish this, I'll work the border around it, and then I'll be finished, and I'm super excited. So, a couple reasons for reviving this. One, I have a basket that this has been living in for 5+ years that I could free up and use for something else. I'm trying to reorganize my craft room, make it functional and usable space instead of just this is where things get dumped where we don't know where else to put them. So I'm, going through boxes I haven't been in several years and finding stuff that I either just need to get rid of, or there's where that thing is that I've been looking for kind of moments, which is a little shameful, but honest. So, yeah, I kind of forgot that this project existed, except when I go on Ravelry, I see it, but it's a little more, in your face when you see how much physical space it takes up in this room. So that has me very excited to finish this, move it out of the room, and I will get back that 1 foot square of floor space because I won't need that basket in here anymore, which is great. But yeah, so I want to finish it for that reason, but also you're going to hear about my stash goals, and I'm kind of drowning in one of my stash goals. I'm losing hardcore, and finishing this will help me win. So that's the plan. So that's where I am with the crochet quilt. I'm sorry, I can't show you the whole thing in this moment, and that's okay because I want to wait till it's done anyway, and then I will work on camera angles and photographs so I can show you the whole thing. In the spirit of reviving old whips. Some of my old whips, even one of them was finished already, really needed to be ripped out and just remade. And I have actually started to tackle 2 of those, which is kind of a big deal. So the first one I want to show you is in this bag, and I should have prepped this before hitting record, but whatever. So last summer, so a year ago, I was knitting this Cumulus tee out of 100% cotton yarn, right? Yep, 100% cotton yarn. Oops. And it's too big. It's like way, way too big. Huge. And yeah, I have done a lot of, this is fingering weight yarn on like US size 2 or 3 needles I was using. I took this with me when I went to my parents' place. My mom had had ankle surgery, and I was going to assist and help out with recovery and running errands and whatever they needed me for. And I took this as my mindless knitting because I got it to a point where I could just knit, knit, knit in the round. Yeah, so I set it aside, didn't have the brain space for it. Colder weather came. This didn't seem important. It's hot again, so now I'm thinking about it. And yeah, so I am reworking it. I'm not going to do the same pattern. In fact, I wanted to kind of work on my own thing. So I have recast this on this yarn, not this pattern, recast on this yarn, and I am incorporating some white cotton to go with it. And this was also a newer purchase from earlier this year. So I'm doing this really simple colorwork pattern. Sorry, there's like a fuzzy right there on my nose, tickling me. So I'm doing this really simple colorwork pattern where the main color is the variegated yarn, and then I'm bringing in the white to be like these little squares, and it's making this grid, and I think it looks neat. and I'm going to do a drop shoulder t-shirt out of this. So this is the back. So this, it's rolling because it's all stockinette, right? So this is the top of the back. So it'll run along the shoulder here, along the back of the neck to the shoulder. And I'm working down. And when I get this long enough, like I think 9 inches is my sweet spot here, 8.5, 9 inches for a depth here, then I will come back and pick up for the shoulders and then bring it around for the neckline and then work down there as well. And that's my plan. And so far, things are going really well. I'm going to put a picture up of a project, a garment that I did complete. Completely done. But I was swimming in it. And that's me right around my heaviest weight. I'm trying to work on that because I'm too heavy and I'm only getting older and I need to take care of myself. So I have lost some weight since then and plan to lose more. And I wasn't wearing it even at that point. It's just not the right fit for me. And I couldn't think of anyone to give it to on whom it would look good. Just, it was the wrong yarn and pattern and sizing combo. So I knew that I wanted to rip it out and rework it, but I left it in the garment. It was already finished, ends woven in and everything. I've had it folded, sitting on the table in this craft room for quite a while. And I finally got an idea of how to rework that yarn and reuse it. So there was a little ball of yarn of the colorway left in my stash, so I used that to knit, to knit a swatch and came up with sizing and started the project. And then I got to a point where I did actually need to rip out the garment. So it is ripped out. That garment is no more. It is in ball form. So that's that. This is yarn from Hobby Lobby. This is the Yarn Bee brand. It's their Baby Bee. So it's a DK weight, 100% acrylic yarn. I believe this colorway is called Puppy Love. It's white with some speckles of navy blue and aqua blue and some gray. I did notice that I purchased yarns from 2 different dye lots, so one of them is more speckly than the other, but that's fine. And then I also have some other colors, some solid colors that were in my scrap yarn of the same brand, so Baby Bee, DK weight, and I've got black, and I don't know the exact name of this blue because I don't have a tag, but it's a nice light teal, and it complements this very nicely. So I've actually made really good progress on this so far. Pretty proud of myself. It seems to be fitting okay. I'm to a point where I'm going to have to try it on again, but okay, which way is which? Here we go. Okay, now here's the deal. First, we did some granny squares crocheting. And I was inspired by things I saw on Pinterest and other podcasts and things. In particular, Edible Thoughts Makes made the Getty tea, and that is basically crochet granny squares on a saddle shoulder sort of thing. And having seen photographs and thinking about ways I could mix these crafts together, I knew I wanted to do something like this, and so yeah, I went for it. So I made the crochet granny squares first, sewed them together, and then I went and picked up for the back, and then went for the front, and I have joined it in the round. So I'm going for a drop shoulder with a saddle shoulder. Is that a thing? Anyway, I've never done a saddle shoulder construction before, so this is new to me, which goes along with my bingo card. And it's interesting. We'll see how it goes in the end. But yeah, so I'm just going to keep knitting in this colorway here. Now, I am finding this a little boring. This speckled, mostly white, speckled yarn. I am wearing a white t-shirt today. I do not gravitate towards light colors. I usually wear dark colors. So this is different. And I do want to, you know, push my boundaries a little bit. But yeah, I'm brainstorming ways to make this garment a little more interesting. While this is fun, I'm realizing how small these granny squares are. And they're just not as noticeable as I thought they would be. But I don't want this to be busy and gaudy. I want this to be something that looks kind of classy, you know? And I don't usually think of crochet granny squares as classy. So I'm having trouble balancing that. But I have some ideas, and I'm going to sit on them and try them out. I will let you know if they work out or not later. But yeah, again, reusing yarn that did not work out in a previous project. It feels good. I am to the point though where I'm like, if this doesn't work, I'm giving the yarn away or throwing it away, because if this doesn't work, I can't look at it anymore. I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope it works out great. Okay, let's run the numbers. So I have a few goals for the year of 2025. One of those goals is to use more out of my stash than what I bring in. The way that I'm counting this is through yardage, which is maybe not the best choice, but that's what I started with, so I'm finishing the year with it. Any yarn that I purchase gets counted as coming in. So as soon as that skein arrives in the mail and I open the box, I'm going to write down and log the yardage as coming in, which I definitely have bought yarn this year, so that's kind of a big number. Yarn out is counted when I finish a project. So for example, the socks that I finished count as coming out, right? But if I have a sock in progress where I finish one sock and the second sock is on the needles, I don't count the yarn from that one sock until I completely finish the pair. Okay. Also, the yardage then counts in that year. So my crochet blanket that I'm revitalizing, if I finish it this year, which I'm pretty sure I can do and I'm determined to do, all of that yardage will count this year. Not just the stuff I knit this year, but for the whole project. Okay, so if we just look at the month of July, I finished 4 things, 3 socks, 1 garment. The total yardage for those 4 projects was 1,156 yards. So that is yarn I'm counting out of my stash. This month I did not purchase any more yarn. Yay! So for the month of July, we're good. Working toward the goal, more out than in. However, if we look at the year so far. So I do keep track of these things in a notebook. So this is my yarn out. So here are all the projects I have finished and their yardages. My yarn in. Every time I buy something, I'm going to write down what it is and all the yardages. Okay. So far this year, I have brought in 8,250 yards of yarn. Note, this is all commercial yarn, hand spun. It's completely separate dealio. Okay. This month I took out 1,100, but I also took out yardage earlier in the year. So total out is 5,265 yards. So I am still not achieving this goal. I still have brought in more. And what I brought in is 2,985 yards more than what I've taken out. So I need to continue working on this goal. Like I said, I revitalized some whips, or I'm reworking some things. Just definitely going to help me with this goal. And I need to not bring in more because that's definitely counterintuitive to this goal. That's going to be difficult because Flock Fiber Festival is next weekend. I haven't been and I would like to go, but if I go, I'm buying stuff. So we'll see what happens. Okay, last goal and things to help drive my crafting is a bingo card. So I have made myself a bingo card, and I finally went through and did like colors on it, so it kind of looks like a bingo card now. So I made a 5x5 grid. The middle space is a free space. Excuse me. And I put different things in the squares to motivate my crafting. So, for example, I knit a lot of socks already. I'm a pretty avid sock knitter. I don't need motivation to knit socks, obviously. So nothing on here has to do with socks. However, putting pockets in something is not something I do a lot of. Have I done it at all? I don't know that I've done it at all. So one of my squares is pockets. Like put pockets in something. Crochet something. Inkle loom. Drum carder. Unconventional. Right? So just different ways to motivate my crafting. So the ones that are colored are the ones I've already done. So the middle one is free. Colored. Okay. So one of them was use hand spun yarn. And I did. So there. Knit something with lace. My tank top I showed you. Design a new pattern. That tank top I showed you. So these are the same color because the same object satisfied both of those. So I don't have to make 24 different things. One thing could count for multiples is how I'm playing this. So yeah, scrappy. I've definitely made several scrappy socks at this point, but the very first one I marked that down. Stranded color work. My Robinia sweater counted for that. Hand dyed by me. I knit a pair of socks out of some of my old hand-dyed yarn. That was another project that I revitalized and reworked up and finally got a pair of socks I like. So that's there. So a couple things that I'm working toward. I'll just share with you quickly. My crochet quilt would satisfy crochet, blanket, and charity because I plan to donate it to a good cause. So that blanket would not only give me mega yardage for my more out than in, but would also mark off 3 squares on my bingo card. So I am extra motivated to work on that thing. I'm super excited. There's a couple of other things, but I just wanted to give you a sense of like how I'm using this bingo card to kind of help motivate me. Okay, that's it. That's enough. This was a long episode. We'll see how it comes out in editing, but I feel like I've been sitting in this chair for a really long time talking to you guys. So I apologize for the long episode, but I hope that you enjoyed it. If you made it till the end, you are a trooper and you've earned 3 gold stars. Arbitrary number of stars. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I hope that you will, and like this video if you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you again sooner rather than later. But you know, I will definitely be giving you an update on my August making, and let's see how much damage I might do at Flock Fiber Festival. Until next time, I hope that you stay safe and enjoy your crafts, whatever they may be. Bye!